Hi, everybody. Before we get to another great interview, the Two Opinionated podcast could really use your help. And it's easy, it's free. IMDb, which is the entertainment database, imdb.com, named us a top 100 podcast. We came in at number 82. That's a big deal because there's 15 million podcasts and growing. So to be named to anybody's top 100 list, pretty big deal for us. And the way you can help is to go to imdb.com, look up the Two Opinionated podcast, and that's it. Just bringing our page up. That traffic really helps us out. Our YouTube channel is MeisterCon Pod. All we ask is that you subscribe. It's also free, but that really helps us to attract these amazing guests that we keep bringing on the program. And that's it. Two easy ways for you to support us, and we would really appreciate the help. Now let's get to that interview. Hi, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Two Opinionated. I'm so excited today. I've got one of my favorite actresses, Ivana Milicevic.
Oh, really?
Ivana.
Thank you.
How bad did I butcher that?
Half bad.
Okay. That's not, that's for me, that's pretty
really
good. So you pronounce it, and I'm going to try again.
Ivana Milicevic.
Milicevic. I went back and forth
So
on
close.
this. I was like, nah, it's probably Vec. It's probably Vec, but it's Vich. So Milicevic.
It's because when people come here or there with the Vich last names, sometimes that's what it becomes. They change their name for the pronunciation to be Vic.
Because we can't pronounce anything here. We're terrible.
You're not. You're not. Listen, I think I'm amazing because I'm bilingual, speaking Croatian and English. And then you come to Ireland and the names here, like
Oh my God.
and Aoife, like if you saw how Aoife was spelled or how they spell Owen sometimes, it's like Eoughahan with like accent mark. You're like, there's a name called Tig. And it is spelled, I'm going to get it wrong, like Tdaiga, like.
Oh, you're right. Yeah. I've seen people with that name. I couldn't tell you how to pronounce it.
Well, because there's Irish people everywhere.
Yeah.
And are you Irish?
I have some Irish, yes.
Yeah, you probably do because everyone does. But Wall, I think is English probably.
I think it's Welsh is Wall, but my grandmother was a Smith. So she was Irish.
Is Smith Irish?
Yeah, I guess.
Okay, well, listen, not that I'm the expert over here.
I wouldn't have thought so either, but apparently so. She was she had some Irish, so yeah. I'm kind of a mutt, a little bit of everything in there.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Ivana, that's really all I needed. I just wanted to know how to pronounce that last name. That's all I got.
Well, thank you for having me on, and good luck to you.
I was so excited to get to talk with you. I've been watching you. I know you're not supposed to talk age and stuff, but since the 90s.
Yeah, at least.
You've been around for, it doesn't seem like that long, but when I went back and was kind of going through IMDb, I'm like, oh my gosh, there's so many good series that you're in. I'm nerdy, so you tend to hit a lot of the genre that I like.
I wish I was nerdier. My soul is way more nerdy than what I got to be a part of, honestly. Well, and I mean back in the day before they realized that nerds were where it was at. I was
that's right. Like when I was growing up, you didn't advertise that you were nerdy.
No, you did not. You hid it. I had a shirt, and I don't know where it is. I need to get another one that said "I love nerds." My husband's a nerd. I love it. Now
that's my people.
Yeah, I know, and nerds are my people. And again, before it was trendy, everybody.
Yeah, that's right. Like I had a group that I hung around with in middle school and high school, and we were athletes, but we were like, the bench players, the backup quarterback. We weren't the stars.
Yeah,
because we were all nerdy. That was kind of like our cover.
Aren't they saying now, as long as countries sort of lift up their athletes and their prom queens, nothing wrong with athletes and prom queens, by the way. I'm just saying.
That's right. That's exactly right.
There's too much emphasis on that and not enough on the nerds, the techie guys, the artists, because who was it that said like eventually all those the prom queen and the quarterback
Well, yeah, it sometimes
Yeah.
reverses.
It often reverses. I hope that there's just more balance with what is praised going forward
I
in the
agree. I mean, it shouldn't
world.
matter what you do if you love it and it's not hurting anybody else. Do it.
Agreed.
Yeah, I kind of agree with that
Agreed.
too. So let's start this way, Ivana. Tell me a little bit about what got you into acting, because it's a difficult profession, and I know you
Yeah.
did some stand up before you got into that. How did that all kind of take place, and when did you decide to just go into acting?
Well, in high school, we had a really incredible theater program
Yeah.
run by Miss Krista Manfredi.
Were
She
you
was
in
in
Indiana in high school?
Michigan.
Oh, Michigan. Yeah, very
I'm
good.
a Midwest girl.
Yeah.
And which is the funniest thing. I never understood why that's the Midwest. It's more like the Mid East, if anything, but
I think so too, but we're
I
Midwest.
digress.
Yes.
So I had this incredible teacher, and we did incredible plays, and they were produced incredibly well. Like, and they tackled things that they did Pippin and a chorus line. Now, this is a different kind of a nerdy genre, but like when they did Peter Pan flew, and this is in high school.
Yeah.
I wasn't part of these, but this was like
That's pretty good.
they did Singing in the Rain, and it rained. Now, maybe this is common in all high
No,
school.
I don't think so.
But I don't think so either. So this was like a really good one. And I did a lot of like drama with her. And the moment I realized that acting was something that you could do for a living,
Yeah.
because I thought I was going to be Barbara Walters, and I might
Oh,
still, but
yeah.
I
You've
thought I
got
was
time. You've
I've
got
got
time.
nothing but time.
Right.
Nothing but time. So I wanted to, once I realized you could do that for a job, I was like, well, then that's what I'm going to do. But then I did that by way of modeling for a little while. And then when I moved to LA, I modeled for a little while, and then I started to do stand-up.
Yeah.
Also for a little while, because I quickly found a manager and was more of a team player. I love stand-up, but I was more of a team player, like improv and a
Oh,
true
right. Yeah.
situation more than I'm by myself
Well,
on
and
the.
that type of stand up it lends itself to acting.
I think they all do, I think, or can.
Okay.
I think I think comedians and stand up is an incredible art form, and I have
I agree.
nothing but mad respect for anyone who does it.
That's a
And
hard job.
it's a
Like if you're
really hard,
touring
they're
doing
all
stand
hard
up,
jobs.
yeah,
They're all hard jobs. What
they
you're
are.
doing is a hard job, like, but at least if you get some charge and joy from it, it makes it easier.
Yes.
Not as hard as freaking backbreaking work, of course, but they've all
Well,
got their
there's
all
mentally
difficult.
challenging and emotionally challenging jobs, just like
Yes.
some people would say that physically challenging jobs aren't hard because they love to do the physical stuff. And the hard part for them would be, something where they had to sit at a desk all day.
I'm just
Depends on
thinking
your
of my
perspective
dad.
on.
I'm thinking of my dad back when we were immigrants and first moved to America, and he like worked at a packing company, like
Yeah,
it
that
was
doesn't
called.
sound like easy work.
No, and you know how it was back then too. So this is the 80s. So he worked on the assembly line.
Oh my
And
God.
that was like really hard work. Like he was always cutting himself and stuff like that. But we came to America and we were living that American dream. And he let his kids, like not let us, I mean, but let us and our parents were so supportive of us doing artistic things, because he's an artist himself, but couldn't do it. Like
Yeah, because he had to work.
wasn't allowed to. But even by his dad in Bosnia, he was like, no, what do you mean art? What do you mean you're going to be a painter? You're going to be an engineer and provide for your family is what you're going to do. So,
Did you
we're
get
really
any of the
lucky.
painting? Do you paint?
Yeah, I mean, I'm very creative and artistic,
Yeah.
but I'm not as good as he is. But if I'd studied it a little more, I mean, I have some natural ability, but
Right. You didn't pursue it. Yeah.
I did not pursue it.
Yeah. Yeah,
Exactly.
I think that's really interesting because I always artistic people tend to be artistic in a lot of different ways. Like if you give them a little time, they can probably figure it out.
Yeah. I mean, I think so.
It's something with the way your brain works, I think.
Yes. What is it? The right brain or the left brain?
I think
Which
it's
one
the
is
left brain.
is it?
I think the
No.
creative side's the
Would it
left
be
brain.
the right brain?
I don't know.
There's this book called Drawing on the Right Side of the Brain, and it makes you, because the idea is to be whole brained,
So
right?
do you draw on the right side because you normally would draw with your left?
Probably you're right.
I,
Yeah.
I could be wrong. I may have
So
them
now
reversed.
I think you're right. So you're drawing with the right side of your brain, and like it makes you draw these pictures, but like upside down or just the negative space. And then you realize that anyone can actually draw. It's more of a question of how does somebody see things?
Yeah. Yeah,
That's
that actually
everything
makes sense.
about art.
It's kind of how
Yeah.
you access that. Some people are better accessing one side of the brain than the other.
Well, haven't you ever seen somebody like draw something and it's like circles and squares and triangles and like measurements, and then they just like round off and there's a perfect
Yeah.
nose and this all, but
Yeah.
it all starts with, so they're seeing and I didn't learn this, but they're seeing our faces with like, this is two circles and this is, and this is half here and half the face, and it's these beautiful fractions,
Yeah.
and then boom, it's this human face. Whereas people who don't see that way, they're like, I know what an eye looks like, and you don't. And I know what a lip looks like, but you don't.
No,
Because it
not when
doesn't
you have
look
to
like
draw
your
it.
idea. I know, isn't that crazy?
My wife's very creative, and she paints and is very creative. So she can envision, when she looks at something, she can envision what it could be. I cannot. Like
Mm.
she'll tell me exactly what it's going to be. I can't see it. But then when it's done, I'm like, oh yeah, there it
Interesting.
is.
What does she draw?
Well, she's trying to learn to do people, and I think she's really good at it. But normally it's more locations, scenes,
Mm.
something that she saw that she thought was pretty, so she draw it. So
It's so cute. How long have you guys been married?
17 years, 17
Okay.
years, been together
Okay.
20,
Pardon?
been together 20, but 17 married.
Very good. Good for you. Good for
Yeah,
you.
yeah, yeah. It's been pretty good. It was both of our second marriages, so we came into it with kids of our own, and
An
went through
experience.
we had two kids each, had to
Mhm.
combine families. That was hard, but now we've got three of our four kids live on our block,
Oh,
and the other
heaven.
one's 15 minutes away, so all the grandkids are right there. It's yeah,
Heaven.
it was worth the time and the effort to make it
Good.
work.
I love it.
Do you any intention at some point to try stand up again?
Well, what I'm doing, it's not stand up, but I also have started my own podcast. I have not aired it yet.
Oh,
We banked them and we're gonna air it May 21st.
for you,
One
what's the name of it gonna be?
Notions. So wait till I tell you. So in Ireland, notions is like a bad thing. So
Oh,
what you would say is like, oh, did you see Michael Wall? Oh, he was out there having caviar. Caviar, can you imagine? Far from caviar, he was reared. Absolute notions, right? That's how somebody
so it's
would
kind of
talk.
an insult.
It's kind of an insult. And as an American, I was like, notions is a bad thing? Like being up yourself is a bad thing? Like, what do you mean? This is how we get anything done. We like
That's
think
right.
we're amazing. And you need some hubris, but do you know what I mean? Americans are very aspirational.
That's
Like
right.
the rest of the world, people have have you ever heard of like the tall poppy
No.
syndrome? Right, of course, because you're American. So Australia, England, here to some degree, like when somebody gets like a little too tall, it's like, oh, ooh, ooh, cut those. They don't want it. Whereas in America, when somebody does well, we're like, and listen, and I hope that doesn't change as like the wealth divide gets bigger all over the world. But like
Right.
America, when somebody does well, you're like, I could be next.
That's
Do
right.
you know?
Yeah, you look
There's
at
this,
it
there's
more
this
as hopeful. Yeah, yeah.
exactly, exactly.
So
So
in other countries, they're like, we're gonna cut you down to size a little bit.
a little bit, exactly. That's all changing as well, I think, because of Instagram and influencers and all this. And people are like, hang on, I want some of that as well.
Right.
But Notions is this like, ooh,
That's
she got.
really interesting. You've taught me something.
Mhm.
Well, I'm pretty excited about that. Are you going to have guests?
Yes. First, it's a friend of mine and me. So it's my Irish friend and me, and we kind of talk about the differences and stuff, and just like girl stuff. And I'm
Yeah.
51, almost 51. I'm not 51 yet, next week. And so it's like I
Well,
call
happy
myself,
birthday.
thank you, thank you. I fancy myself a teenage woman in my 50s, a twiff,
Yes.
if you
I
please.
like that.
Yeah, well, it is kind of like that. I am very, I did not fully grow up, and my husband's younger than me, and that keeps you young as well. Again, not that I ever grew up, but we talk about like girl stuff. I am enjoying it so much. Like I'm sure you are. You've got a million episodes in the can.
Yes.
I should
We
interview
do have a
you.
lot of episodes.
Yeah, it's amazing. I'd love to pick your brain about that. But anyway,
Anytime.
so then I get to kind of be more myself. Whereas when you're doing interviews, like especially the short form interviews on talk shows and things like that, it's like a quick blurb and a snippet of your life.
That's
Whereas
right.
here,
It's
just
more about the project than you most of the time.
yes, exactly. And you can't, it's a different form, it's a different art form.
Yes.
And I enjoy that as well, but I like this longer form. I love humans. I love people,
Yeah,
the
me
way people
too.
dogs. So like I enjoy meeting people and talking about things. And yes, and then we have guests. Tomorrow I'm interviewing, sorry, your son will edit this out. Tomorrow I'm interviewing this man who wrote this book called Let's Talk About Sex for here in
Yes.
Ireland. So like Ireland is still very uh it's still very much controlled by the Catholic churches and things like
Right.
that, which no problem. Listen, I couldn't, if somebody wants to wait to have sex till they're married, that is beautiful. Like
That's right.
I'm actually 100% for it. In my belief, I also think that we do need to teach the other kids like what's going on because they have to, because they still,
Chances are they're not going to wait.
chances are they're not going to wait, but that's not even that much of an issue. Listen, throughout history, everyone did not wait till they were
That's right.
married. But the issue now is that the fact that they have like a porn machine in
Yeah.
their pocket. So the age that they're exposed to it versus all of us who like found our dad's one, Playboy
The
from
one Playboy. Yeah.
1962, the one
That's
in the
right.
bottom drawer under the socks. Like I think every dad put it in the same place.
Yeah.
It's like a finite amount of images. It's not everything that's available. So I just want to get the word. That's my guess tomorrow, but I'm going to do it lightly in a way
I love
because
that. Well, I mean, I just try to have a conversation because that's fun. You learn
yeah,
something about somebody. I can ask the
exactly.
same questions everybody else does, and I'll ask some of them, but
Yeah,
you do that all the time. That's not really what I want to do.
yes, exactly. So
Well, I'm excited
no,
for you. That's
me
a big
too.
deal. That's a big
I
deal.
love it. Do you love it? Do you
Oh, I
love
love
having
it. I mean,
guests?
I retired. I spent 30 years running call centers, and I spent a little time working in the local hospital, but I retired from that, because the podcast was doing well, and I enjoy it. It's really the first job I've ever had. Second job. I owned a comic
Mhm.
book store in college. I love that.
Yes.
Second job
Yeah.
I've ever had that I've really loved. I mean, I just love it. And
Yeah, that's
for
excellent.
me, it's cathartic because every time I do a podcast, I come out of it and I'm in a better mood. Helps me for the day. Now, days where I'm like, I have a lot of interviews, I might be tired at the end of the day, but that's a good day.
Well, how many do you do a day? Hold on. How many pods do you do a day?
Well, normally I'll have a week where I'll do 7 to 10 interviews in a week. But then the next week I might only do one or two. And we typically put out about 4 a week. So it evens
Are
out.
there enough earballs to be
Well,
listening to?
it's the when we started, the only guests we had were the ones that I could find. Which was
Mhm.
fine. I enjoyed that.
Yeah.
So we weren't quite as frequent. Well, now it's like 90% of the guests we have come to us, and I don't tell anybody no. If they ask, I'm like, I'll fit you in. We'll figure it out. And that's just the volume we're getting in. And then occasionally, I'll send one out like I did with you, and
Yeah.
because that's somebody I'm like, I really want to talk to. But yeah, so the volume's just there. And I could tell people no, but I want those relationships with their people.
Right, right,
If
right.
that makes sense, because
It does make sense. It's really smart. And you have the kind of setup where you get on a Zoom call and there you go. Boom, you have a show.
yeah, anywhere in the anywhere in the world. So it worked
Yes.
out really good. The only downside is if I'm too busy, it takes a little too long to get everybody's episode out, and I don't like anybody to have to wait more than about 2 weeks at the most.
Mm,
At the most. So that's kind of our goal, to have everybody done and out within 2 weeks.
incredible. Good for you.
Yeah, I mean, it took a while to figure that out. We've been at this
Yeah.
for a little while.
How long have you been doing it? Oh my God, I'm interviewing.
Let's see.
Great. Yeah, I'm in
We
podcast.
hit 6 years in January,
Amazing.
which it isn't a real long period, but for podcasting, it's kind of long.
It is because they're new enough. Because I
Yeah.
just remember, like, was your first podcast that you discovered Serial as well?
Yeah,
I was
I
like,
guess
what's
it
a
was.
podcast? Was it?
I think it was.
Was it everybody's? Because
I
I
think
remember
it,
it
I
was
think
like,
the majority of people it was. Yes.
do you know what I'm saying? Like, so I remember when watching that, I'm like, here I am going back in time. It's like, sitting by the radio, like it's 1952, waiting for your cereal to come on. Like, literally, it
I mean,
was,
I think that's why. Yeah, that's why podcasts are doing well now, because it's basically just a radio show. I mean, we're doing video with it now, but a lot of times podcasts you're just listening. So
Mhm.
it kind of before TV, the family would gather around the radio at night to listen to the programs. I know.
Yeah. And now while we're doing our laundry, all that, I love it. I absolutely love it. I'm so glad. And listen, that means I might still get to be Barbara Walters at the end of the day.
I think it's going to happen.
Everybody wins.
We kind of need a new Barbara Walters, somebody to fill that void.
Plus,
I mean, she's still there. She just doesn't
yeah,
do as much.
yeah.
It's time to bring
I bet
somebody
she's
else.
tired.
Yeah, she's still there. Yeah, I always enjoy her because a lot of her interviews she just has conversations.
Yeah.
Like she can be kind of a hard-hitting journalist if she wants to, but a lot of her interviews is just sitting down having a conversation. She just talks to, the biggest people. And not just in Hollywood, she's talking to world leaders and stuff. So
Absolutely.
yeah. Well, I hope you get there.
How did we get here? Because
I said, I hope you get there. I hope you get to do it.
I'm already enjoying it. The journey is already amazing, And then when people are like, "Oh God, not another podcast," I'm like, "Are we gonna not write books anymore?" Like,
Well,
what do
that's
you?
it. I mean, there is a ton of them out there, absolutely, but nobody's forcing you to listen or watch any of them. Pick the ones you like and watch them, or ignore them. Nobody.
Exactly. Nobody cares. It's not the same thing, which is interesting too, because now when I hear some, have you ever, now when I hear some interviews with some podcasters, it's like the questions that they get answered by some big people.
Yeah,
And it's not this sort of gotcha journalism, like, oh, we got you to say it. It's just this, like you said, conversation. And I just think it's amazing. Somehow, like celebrities have found podcasts and they're able to be themselves and somehow they don't get in trouble for it. As far as I know,
I
I'm
haven't
sure
really seen
somebody's
anybody.
gotten canceled somewhere from
That's right.
something they said in a podcast, but I cannot think of it right now. I don't know
No, I can't
who.
either. I can't.
So,
The closest would probably be more sports type of personalities that go on
and
a
why?
talk show or something and maybe say something that might upset somebody. I haven't really seen that from the entertainment world.
Right. And we're full of
I know.
beans.
You would expect it, although most people that are in entertainment, they kind of understand, that they have to be a little careful with what they say. It's probably
A little. I mean, you're still I'm still a lady when I'm talking to somebody, but there's this just element of being more human. And in general, whenever I do an interview, I always kind of like try to come from a place of loving the person I'm talking to,
oh,
because
I
then
love
you're
that.
less nervous and then you're just,
It's like talking to a friend at that point.
yes.
I love that. Yeah, I'm happy you're doing the podcast. I think you'll find it doesn't matter who's actually listening. It's nice, but it doesn't really
Mhm.
matter.
Yeah,
It's
it's for
it's
you.
just about the experience and kind of the journey, but you need the listeners kind of to keep
It's
going.
getting money or even get sponsors to do it.
To get going.
Yeah.
But you know, when my son and I started, we said that a lot. It was just we were doing it because we wanted to spend time together, not because we were trying to gain an audience. And it just so happened it gained an audience, and then we're like, oh, we got to figure some stuff out.
Cool. Well, I hope I also pray for me. I hope I also gain an audience.
You will. You won't have any trouble. You won't have any trouble. It's a little tougher from, you know, a 55-year-old guy in West Virginia trying to make inroads, you know, because nobody knew who I was. You've at least got some recognition there. That'll help.
That matters because it's not like I look for people with, but I guess that's maybe what comes up for me.
Yeah, I think you're going to do fine. You're going to do
Thank
fine. I was trying to think what the first thing I saw you in. I guess it was probably Seinfeld, but
I think so.
You did a bunch of 90s stuff though, because you did. I know you did Just Shoot Me. Seemed like maybe a couple episodes of like Felicity.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I did Felicity. Oh, remember the 90s?
Yes. Like it was yesterday.
Like it was yesterday. Are you one of those people that think that the 80s was 20 years ago?
Yeah.
Me
I mean, it's
too.
like I logically I know it's been almost 50 years, but it feels like I still feel like a teenager.
Totally. We were trying to play Back to the Future for our son. It's a little P7, so it's a little too early for him. And I was like,
well, that helps me because I'm dying to show the grandkids, but you know, the oldest is just 6, so I'll wait a few years.
Not yet. But 1985, we are further from here to 1985 than 85 to 55.
I know.
What?
But, I mean, you know, when we were growing up in the 70s, World War II just happened. Vietnam just happened. You know, and it's just like that kind of boggles my mind. And now, you know, it's not going to be too long. It's going to be 100 years since we have World War II. I don't know. That to me is just crazy.
Crazy.
Because now to me, that makes World War II more history. Where when I was growing up, it just happened. You know, it was like parents that were in it.
How old are you if you don't?
55. Yeah, I was. So
I'm only 4 years younger than you, but it's enough where I'm like, I didn't feel like it just happened. Although they did, when I think about it, I guess my grandparents were always talking about the war.
Yeah.
Like
because for them, it really just happened.
I'm also in Europe. Yeah. So.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
It was right here. It was literally, right here.
I've got some of your shows. I've got like they've got connections with me, and I'll tell you why. So I started watching Strike Back. This has been which I think came out around the time that me and my wife got married. So we got married in 2008. Does that sound that's about right? Right?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. So around that time. Well,
yeah.
I love the theme song. Loved it. And I'm like, I got to find out who this band is. Well, the band's The Heavy, right? That does the theme song. And that's like me and my wife's favorite band now. But it came from watching Strike Back. So I got some fond memories just from that, if that makes sense.
I think Bill Clinton used to love watching Strike Back. I remember hearing
I do remember that. Yeah,
right.
I think that's right. Well, it was a great show.
I was like, did he watch Banshee? I was like, no, then Obama watched Banshee. No, I'm kidding. That would be hilarious. That's a good rumor to start. Obama's favorite show
is Banshee.
Also Donald Trump's. But interestingly, they agree on one thing and they both love Banshee. Have at it, everyone.
I think I'm going to start that rumor. That's kind of hilarious.
It is kind of. That would be funny.
I was in a car wreck in 2014. Pretty bad one. So I was hurt pretty bad. And it took me a few years to kind of get to the point where I could go to the gym, and I started running. So when I first started running, I can't run without something to distract me. So I have to watch something. So I'm on a treadmill watching something. Well, the show I started watching was The 100. And same thing. I love the theme song, and it would always get me in like a running mood. Just, that theme song at the beginning, I'd be like, oh, and that'd get me going. So that's my two memories from those two shows. And it both has to do with the theme song.
but that doesn't matter because that kind of stuff really cements itself in a in a person. And
Yeah.
then you got this like fond, you have these fond memories and a fond feeling of people associated with it.
Yeah.
It's like
That's it.
it's like
That's it.
a
It made me
part.
love those shows. It
Right.
made me watch it.
Get
And
happy when you hear the theme song.
yeah, I know if it comes on, I feel like I need to run.
Ah, that's funny.
I got to get moving. That Seinfeld episode, one of my favorite episodes.
I
So
mean,
fun. Oh, well, it have to be. I'm assuming
that's
you were
like my
probably a
first.
fan before you got on there. You that was getting close to the end of the series, but
It was the eighth season, and let me tell you something. That was like my first job, and I
really,
only got
I
it
knew it was
because
early, but
of
that
that show.
first one, yeah,
It was my first real job because I was really nervous about it, and I was really young. I was like
yeah.
20 something, and I want to say I was like 21 or 22. So
Well, you
I don't
probably
know.
were 30 years ago or so.
Yeah, right. And but my first job was on one of the greatest sitcoms that ever existed on television. So then when I did things after that, even really good ones, like you could just see, because I've worked on Seinfeld and Friends. I
Yes.
didn't work on Frasier or Cheers or those other greats that I'm sure were also very tight, but I'm sure it's a similar thing. The professionalism and just tightness
Yeah.
of those shows and then comparing it to like another normal, perfectly fine show that went on to have lots and lots of episodes. It's just you realize you're like, ah, and this is why
Yeah.
these are
These are the
the
best. Although, I love the sitcoms from like 1980 to 2000. Unbelievable. I don't
I
think we've ever
want
met.
it back. I want it to come back.
Me too. I
Like,
think we're kind of there's so much to watch now, and there's so much of it that's really good.
yeah.
But we don't have a lot of sitcoms anymore.
No, but it must be that the ones we have aren't being watched, or do we not know where to find them anymore? I don't even know
Yeah,
how television works anymore because
yeah,
everything is streaming, right? Do you
yeah.
actually
It's all streaming now.
so
I
do you even
couldn't
have
tell you the last time I watched a network show. I just watch it on their streamer.
right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I went through this run where I was rewatching a lot of those shows. So I rewatched Frasier and Cheers and Seinfeld, Friends, and I watched all those, and they still hold up. Still funny.
Yeah. And also makes you feel good because you remember.
It does. It does. It's nice because it's funny. So I'm enjoying it in the moment because it'd been a while since I'd seen them, but it was still familiar, so it brought back all the good feelings I had growing up. I mean, you couldn't beat Thursday night on NBC when I was growing up.
No, same.
Yeah. Unbelievable.
Yeah.
I mean, because if you go back a little farther, you had Night Court, you had Family Ties. Michael J. Fox was.
Oh my God.
You had
Yeah.
a lot of good shows there on
The
Thursday, and then they'd
hotel.
end it with like a L.A. Law or Hill Street Blues or a drama at 10 o'clock. I
Mm-hmm.
miss those, the
Roadhouse.
8 to 11 block.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So good.
I know, and,
Yeah.
and I'm betting because you're close to my age. I love to binge just like everybody, but I really like the week at a time. One episode a week because you get to digest it, you talk about it, you kind of
Keep
anticipate
it
the
real.
next one, and you binge, and it's great for a day, but then it's done.
That, and also there's no community around it where it's like, have you
Right.
seen? Which we still get with some HBO shows because you have to wait if you're watching them when they come out.
That's right.
And there's that excitement that, the water cooler where you're just like, did you see
And if you missed it,
this
you had to wait
happened?
till summer
Yes.
for the
For
rerun.
yes. If you miss it, it's gone. Oh, the kids will never know. They'll never know.
Yeah. Oh, I know. I that used to happen a lot with. I mean, it was just a short period of time because then they came out with VCRs and we were all just taping everything if we couldn't watch it. But there was that little period of time before VCRs where there was no way you could watch it unless it just re-showed in the summer. And it
And
was
then it was,
miserable because everybody was talking about
yeah.
it. All right, I've done enough to show my age.
I've also done my age. I mean, but you know what? When we're fabulous like this, Who cares how old we are?
That's all right. There you go.
You know,
That's fair.
that's what I'm gonna stick with.
I think that's fair. Oh, you got to play Catwoman's mom, Gotham.
Yes.
That's a pretty cool role. I'm a big comic book
I
fan.
loved it.
Yeah,
I
Gotham was a great show.
honestly say, if you can't play Catwoman, at least play her mother.
That's right.
She was so cute. Yeah, that was really fun.
That
And
was a good
then
show.
my beloved Lily Simmons, who you made, did you watch Banshee? Are you a Banshee fan?
Oh, I'm a Banshee fan. Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Or you're gonna have to be a fan. Have you seen it? So Lily, um, who plays my, well, she doesn't play anything in mine, but she was in Banshee. She plays Catwoman grown up.
Oh, that's right. You're right.
Yes, which I thought was
That
awesome.
is
Like,
pretty cool. You know, I never made that connection, but as soon as you started talking about it, I was like, I know what she's going to say.
sorry, I don't know how to turn off my. I've never had so many. Here, maybe if I quit.
What are they doing?
It's okay. Are you hearing the dings from my text
No, no,
messages?
no. That's
Oh,
the nice thing with Zoom. It filters those out, so it doesn't
oh,
come.
that's great because I keep being like, sorry, you know.
You'll hear
I
them, but I don't hear them. Yeah, so I know. Zoom does a lot of good things with how they kind of work. Because before Zoom, before 2020, we were doing we were holding a phone up to a microphone
No, you
to
weren't.
talk to people. We were doing no video. We didn't know what we were doing. It's
Wow.
amazing that we're still here.
For you. I love it. You are a success story.
You know, some of the best times we had though was when we were just on a phone.
Mm.
We had some of the best conversations and just a good time with that. But when you're just talking on a phone, it's so much easier to you bump into each other a lot because you can't see each other.
Hmm.
Yeah. So, you know. Are you a Seinfeld fan?
Yeah.
Did
Though,
you have a favorite episodes outside of yours?
I mean, I think the one with the the one where the one where they couldn't remember her name, but it was Dolores, and she was like,
He's like,
oh,
oh, Dolores.
because she was like, it's so hard because she couldn't remember her name, and she's like, yeah, it's so hard when you have the same name as a female body part, and then they're all trying
I
to
know you're
figure.
saying Malva.
Yeah, but you know what? Here's the thing. In the 90s, before TiVo, there's this whole period of television I've missed. I have not watched every single episode of Seinfeld. I have not watched every single episode of Friends because a young girl in Los Angeles is out
Yeah,
on a
you're
Thursday.
busy. That's right.
You know, you were having babies, I think, but I was a single girl and I was out on Thursday night. So it wasn't until TiVo that then I caught up to TV, which was so funny because there I am making television, but I wasn't
That's
watching.
funny.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. Well, I told you yours was one of my favorites. I love the one where he's in the race and like he was in school and a car backfired or something, so he took off early and he ends up just smoking uh this other guy in this race, and then the guy shows up years later and he's still upset because he thinks Jerry cheated, and so they finally agree to re-race and the same thing happens. Car backfires and Jerry takes off and wins again, and the other guys. That one cracks me up.
So funny.
You did a few episodes of Hit Monkey. I had
I have not seen that yet. Is it out yet?
I don't think it's out yet. The new
Yes, because
season.
it's not my series. I think they have to. I think they do Us first.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I can tell you this. I play like a German.
Yeah. Well, I had Fred on, the voices the monkey, and he
I
mentioned.
don't know, when you're doing voiceovers for animation, it's not like I get to meet any of these
No, I know,
people.
because I know it's so weird because you're most of the time doing it on your kind of on your
Spider,
own. Yeah.
yeah, and
I know,
just
which
imagine.
is good and bad because do you do like are you recording the stuff remotely or do you have to go in to record it?
Oh, I am not set up for professional recording
So you got
there.
to go in. Yeah.
Exactly.
Voice work, I think, is
Somewhere
kind of interesting.
local. Somewhere local.
Yeah. You're not flying anywhere, but yeah. Yeah. That's, was Castlevania like that too? Did you do the most of those by
I
yourself?
did them in LA and I had just had my son, so it was like my first venturing out. But that was fun because it was in LA and it was before COVID.
Yeah.
So they had a lot of us, whoever was in town, we did it together. We were in the
Oh, well
same room.
then, yeah, it'd be a lot easier to me to have other actors, I think,
And more fun.
and more fun. Yeah.
When I did things like American Dad and did I do Family Guy? No, just American Dad a couple times. That's also by yourself alone. It's really fun. I
My
love that.
my son said to make sure to mention that you were Miss Ivana on Psych. Psych's his favorite
Wrote
show.
that for me. I
Yeah.
did a play with those guys and then they wrote that part for me and I was like, absolutely.
Yeah, that's his favorite show. And it is an excellent show. Yeah. That's pretty good. I wondered that since the name was the same. I wondered if they had did that
Yeah.
one for you. Yeah. That's pretty good. Oh,
David Lynch's
uh,
daughter,
what was that?
David Lynch's daughter directed that episode. It was really cool.
Really? Love David Lynch. I didn't know that.
Mhm.
I need to look that up because that's kind of,
Look it up. Yeah.
yeah, that's kind of interesting. Yeah. When my wife Emily and I first got together and the kids were starting to get a little older, the first like real family connection experience we had was Chuck. We loved Chuck, and we would watch that together as a family when the kids were all living at home. But you were great on there because you got to be Adam's girlfriend or love interest.
Yes, exactly. And wasn't I Russian? God, I played
I
a lot
think
of
you were
Russian.
Russian. Yeah, you were
I
like a spy or something.
dollar. Yes, exactly. I mean, if I had a dollar for every time I played a Russian spy.
No typecasting at all.
Listen, Croatians aren't Russian, but I think I look like what you think a Russian spy looks like. Or you hope. You hope so
That
anyway.
might be it. Yeah, it may be what you hope of what a Russian spy looks like. None of us actually probably know what an actual Russian spy would look like because they probably
Yeah,
just look like the rest of us.
exactly.
You know, my
Or
wife's
they look like
dad.
the Americans.
Well, yeah.
That's even hotter than probably.
My wife's dad spent some time undercover. He was in the Air Force and he did some undercover work in Iran, back in the 70s with
Okay.
that.
Was
He's
that before when it was still a party town?
it's you got me. You got me.
Yeah.
He was Mexican and I was like, well, how did that work in Iran? But it did. He lived there
Mm.
for a couple years. I was like, all
No, because
right.
Iran used to have like used to be like America, like mini skirts and everybody, and
Yeah.
then
Yeah, not now.
it happened. Yeah.
It's awful. I hate that. But yeah, if you go back and look at pictures, before all that came into power, yeah, it was basically like it is here, or at least in Europe. It was like in Europe.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, that's awful. That's
Yeah.
awful. Do you consider yourself a Bond girl?
I think so. I
I
think
would consider you one. I've always
I
thought you were.
do sometimes and I sometimes don't because I'm a bad girl and are bad girls Bond girls?
I think they can be. Yeah,
Are we part of the villain thing? But I guess if you're a girl and you're in a Bond movie, are you just a
I
Bond
think you're a
girl?
Bond girl. It's kind of like if
Yeah.
you're a kid in a Disney movie, you're a Disney kid.
I guess so. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's not terrible. That's a pretty good. That's a
Yeah,
good
I'm
group
not
to
mad
be.
at it.
No,
There's not many who get to say that about themselves. So
Casino Royale, probably one of my favorite Bond movies. That was a great one.
it's totally my favorite and nothing. I mean, I'm barely in it, not because I'm in it. It's so good.
It is
Because also
excellent.
it's a completely different kind of Bond.
Yes.
And everybody, I remember when it was great to be in the first one with the new Bond because everything is more chill but tense because anytime they announce a new Batman, a new Bond, everybody's like, no, worst idea ever. It's never, everyone chill out. But I guess that's just part of the process. Like, not who we wanted. Doesn't matter who, doesn't matter what, right? Has anyone ever been happy with the announcement of a new superhero?
No, and I always kind of take the just wait and see because it always works out.
Yeah.
Like they know what they're doing. It's fine.
And people still like literally every Bond is someone's favorite.
Yes,
They're
that's
not all,
true.
but Daniel Craig is such a good actor.
Oh, he's amazing.
You
He
know,
did a movie where he does a West Virginia accent, and I'm like,
oh,
it sounds like somebody that
Onion?
probably lived next to me.
Glass Onion?
No, it wasn't Glass Onion. It was there was like a Lucky something movie where it was like there was race car drivers and bank robbers in it.
I don't remember.
Lucky something. It hadn't been that long ago, but he spot on West Virginia accent. I was like, that's pretty good.
He's so good. So it was great to be part of that first one because after that, when Casino Royale was a hit and they kept going, like then it's a madhouse. Like that's like the first one's a little more of a lull. Now everyone's excited about the new Bond, da, 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 da. But then when the new Bond hits and it's the next thing and that becomes the new iconic thing, then I would imagine the Bond movies after that are even just gnarlier and more tense.
I would think, yeah, yeah.
You know?
Who was your Bond growing up? Was it Connery? Was it Moore? Moore was more like when we were teenagers and stuff, but Connery
I
was
would probably say more because that was just, at that age, you're like, well, that's the old one. You're not at that age, you're not like, I'm into the classics.
That's
You're
right.
like
That's right.
out with the old, in with the new.
Most
Not
of
so
through the '80s,
young,
it was Roger Moore.
right. So it's that other kind of thing.
Yeah. And actually, I like Timothy Dalton too. They all had their moments.
They're all great. We need a Bond, like I've known it's never going to happen, but like one day, because of like how everything's going, one day they're going to have a female James Bond.
Oh, I
Because I've
think
known
it's coming.
James, yeah.
I think it's coming, and probably overdue.
I mean, just do it, and I don't mean, Jamie Bond. I mean, like literally, just make a James Bond and have it be a girl.
I know
Because
it.
like, it's fun to reinvent these stories. I mean, comic books. How many origin stories are there for Batman?
Oh my lord,
There's a lot,
too
right?
many.
But the point is somebody keeps reinventing even the
That's
beginning,
right.
don't they? Because
Oh yeah.
you're the comic book pro.
Well, they do, and not just for Batman, but every character. There's a female version and a male version of each character, basically, and that's
And now that
fine.
they opened
It
up
works
the
fine.
multiverse,
And the
it's like,
multiverse, you can do
yeah,
whatever you want.
exactly. And that's cool.
I think so too. I have
Yeah.
no. I know a lot of people get all torn up about that. The recasting and that type of stuff they do when they remake stuff. I mean, don't you want something a little different? You've
Well,
already seen the original. Don't you want it a little different?
but also it's surprising. Well, they just have to go through that process because there's such ownership.
Yeah,
And I understand why, because they've been there from the beginning.
that's right. That's right.
These fans, but these very fans who've been there from the beginning also have been seeing new writers of new comics come up with like a slightly,
Yeah,
instead
they
of
don't get upset with the comics. That's why I don't understand the movies. I was like, this happens like monthly in the comics.
but also, in all honesty, origin stories are my favorite. They're everybody's favorite, aren't they?
Yeah.
Because I usually don't know. I can't follow the story past that. I used to read comics, and I remember. I'm surprised that no one ever covers like Bizarro Superman. I feel like that was such a thing in the
How
80s.
have
It was.
we not had a Bizarro yet? I think
We
Smallville
have
did
not
okay.
had a. Okay.
I think I'm not 100%, but it was like it wasn't. He didn't really go into it much. Like he was
I
on
feel
there,
like
but it
Bizarro
didn't.
was like a big deal, or maybe it was just like the group of comic books that I had
No, he
borrowed
was
from.
like he was the main villain.
Yeah,
Yeah, I know. That's
yeah.
pretty. Maybe we need to write that.
Well, I think I had one of my Instagram things where I was going to have like a secret Instagram. I didn't do anything with it. Was like Bizarro Yiv. So Yivy is my nickname. So I was going to be like Bizarro. But
Well, you had
yeah,
Bizarro Jerry and that stuff. He had that episode. Where Elaine started hanging out with the other group of friends that was basically identical to her group, but they were the opposite. Hey, do you remember that one?
I remember
It
it.
was like the Bizarro
Yeah, I love
version
that.
of their group. Yeah. I know they did a lot of stuff that they got pretty right on that show. I mean, they made some mistakes, I'm sure, but a lot of it was pretty good.
If we did a Bizarro Superman or Bizarro world, you still have like would we make them all cubey or do you make them sexier?
Knowing today, it'd be sexier. I'd make
Yeah.
it cubey because I like the classic look, but it'd be sexier. Like I would like to see
Maybe they
one.
start like that and then they go have plastic
Well,
surgery.
maybe I kind of like to see one where it's just from Bizarro's
Point of
perspective.
view. Kind of like Ender's Game.
Yes,
And then you have the whole bean version. Do you see? I'm a freaking nerd too,
you are.
Gordon.
That's impressive.
So and then the whole other, what was the second one? It was Ender's Game, and then what was the one what was the one where it's Bean's point of view
Well,
called?
whatever. Yeah, I've read those. It was whatever
Yeah.
came after Ender's Game. That was they adapted that one, right? Harrison Ford was in it.
They did, but then it came out that the writer was homophobic or something. Then
Yeah,
everybody,
yeah, yeah. That's right. That's right.
oh,
Because I'd read all those books, and then all that came out.
love the books. They're beautiful books.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
They really are. Well, let me ask you this: what's your favorite Christmas movie? Is it Love Actually?
No, I mean, I'm probably supposed to say yes, but probably A Christmas Story, an elf.
A Christmas Story is the correct answer. That is the best. And Elf is number two.
Thank you.
And then probably Christmas Vacation for me would be number three.
There you go.
But now I'd probably put Love Actually fourth. That's still
Okay.
pretty
No,
good.
no, Love Actually is amazing, but when you're in it, I'm not.
Well,
I
yeah, and it's more love story, romantic, comedy, where the other ones are just silly.
Right, but and also what's amazing. I was talking to somebody about this. What's amazing about Love Actually is how it sort of holds up, but it really shouldn't.
Yes, I agree with that.
Like I feel like I can openly say that because I'm not the first one who said it. Where you're like, oh, and yet we're like, but we get the gist of it. It gives me hope.
Right. Well, and you get to see Andrew Lincoln before Walking Dead, and I think that's
Yeah, yeah.
because now you can't look at him now and not see, Rick from Walking Dead.
I don't watch Walking Dead because zombies are really scary.
A
They
comic
be
guy, so I'd
chasing you
read
and
the
they're
comic.
not sexy.
They're
Pardon?
scary, but the comic was even worse. It was just in black and white, which helped with the gore. Kind of like The Boys, The Boys on
I
TV.
do not watch The
Yeah, yeah,
Boys
very
because
violent.
I tried to watch one episode and I had already had a baby, so I was not in that
Oh, yeah,
zone.
yeah. No, no,
And
no.
I was like, no, that's
They're excellent, but very violent.
exactly.
Yeah, and the comic's worse. And worse, violent, not worse like, not as good. It is excellent. They're both excellent, but yeah.
Have you gotten into the comic? Have you gotten your grandkids like Dog Man and Bunny versus Monkey?
So my, Brett that does show, he's a children's librarian during the day, and he stocked the library with those. So yeah. So no, I have not read those yet, but he has. So he has those.
It's
Yeah.
on it, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So you're gonna enjoy that because when they start reading, so my son has just turned 7 literally last
Well,
week.
that's why I hadn't read them yet, because I'm just waiting to read them to them.
No, they'll read them to you. My
Oh,
son
that's
is
even better.
yeah, even better. Exactly. He'll read them to you.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, when I was growing up, I was a collector. I just bought everything. Now it's more I jump from series to series. It's whatever catches my, interest for the moment, and then I'll read it till that story ends and then I move something else. So, and I don't collect anymore. Like Brett and I, if we buy comics, we always just donate them to the library once we're done reading them. So he just moves on. We don't collect anymore.
Did you get rid of all your collection?
Well, that's how I opened up. I had 2 comic book stores, and I opened up with my collection. And then when Marvel went bankrupt in '96, I thought it was over. And I'd just gotten married just for the first time, and had my oldest, and I was like, I can't support a family on this, and so I closed it. So and that was when eBay was just starting out, and I sold everything on eBay, paid off the house, which was pretty great, but I miss it. and Brett wasn't even born yet, so I never got to share that with him. And that started the podcast because we were looking for something to kind of share that nerdy interest, and this is what came out of it. So I can't really feel bad about the comic store because it led to this, but I do kind of wish I'd kept it long enough to where when he was little, he could have been there. Yeah, but that's just life. You make decisions, and you just got to learn to live with them, good or bad.
Yes.
Yeah, how it goes. Tell me about Sherlock and Daughter.
Okay, so
I haven't watched this one yet.
has it even come out yet?
I don't think. I was looking because it like if you look in IMDb, some says it's in pre-production, but then it's also listed down in the credits for 2025. So I'm assuming that means
there's some places where it's done, I think. I thought that April 19th might even be, but it's been this is what I mean. It's the wild, wild west now in terms of like when you promote something. It's not my show. I'm not the lead on it. I just play, the ambassador's American wife, and it's really fun because we shot it in Dublin here. A new Sherlock story, really interesting. If you like, crime and Sherlock.
I do. Yeah.
It's a cute little story with the family dynamic of him having this like daughter he didn't know he had, who's like half.
I love that.
American.
Where's it going to show? Is it coming to theaters or is it on a?
It's the CW or the WB, the CW.
Oh, CW.
It's still called CW, isn't it? That's what I'm saying. Everything. So now CW got sold off, so it's not part of the Warner Brothers anymore. I'm very confused.
Yeah, it started out, it was WB and UPN combined, and then now I think it's its own entity, CW.
Exactly. So this is all new for me because I've done a lot of CW stuff, but
I have to go check. I've been watching like CW shows some of the Canadian shows that you can't get anywhere else. I watch Family Law and
the new streamer.
Yeah.
I don't think I can get it here.
Yeah.
So there you go. So
yeah,
I have
not. That out. Yeah, maybe it's out. Maybe it came out. I'll go look. But yeah, I was definitely interested in that one because I've always been a big Sherlock. I was a big reader when I was younger, and I always loved Sherlock.
Beautiful.
Those are hard reads too. Like
I do not read Sherlock.
Yeah, it's hard reads. They're not. It's not like a leisurely read.
Right.
It's tough, but I always really enjoyed them. You did The Astronaut. Was that last year?
That was just last year, and I don't know when that's coming out with Kate Mara.
Really, I didn't think I'd seen that one yet because I was like, well, that's
no, it's not out yet.
Yeah, okay, good.
I don't think that's out yet. I think it just finished. I think it's going on the festival circuits. That was an ambitious little indie movie.
What's that one about? I know she plays an astronaut, but what's it about?
She plays an astronaut that goes to space, like you do, and then comes back, but weird things are happening. And so it's a suspenseful thriller with an interesting twist in the end.
So she doesn't bring anything back with her, but she comes back and things are different?
We'll have to see.
Okay. Yeah, I'm kind of interested in that one. That one looked pretty good to me. It seems like something I would watch.
Okay. I love sci-fi too.
So I know we gotta wrap it up. But I wanted to ask you about you did a movie with Val Kilmer back in the day. And I wanted to ask you about that. I'm such a Val Kilmer fan, and it's been so tragic all that's happened with him. But just wanted to mention that one and see if you had any stories, about your time.
Don't have stories because that's another one of those where like he wasn't
there when you were filming your scenes.
Yeah, because I think I was on the phone to him.
Oh, maybe I think it was Columbus Day. I couldn't think of the name. Columbus Day.
I think
I've seen that one, but I just don't remember much about it.
Yeah. Me neither. That was so long ago. And I think it's one of those where it's like I ran in to do one day of shooting in the midst of millions of other things. Gosh, I should even find that. I don't even know if I've seen it.
Well, that's me. I'm gonna look it up. He's such a good actor, and
he's so good.
Like Tombstone, one of my favorite movies ever.
Oh my God,
he is one of my favorite movies ever. He's just so good, and he was Batman.
And just Top Gun, the OG Iceman, like
I know he keep going. Real genius. I think that's where he got started, was Real Genius. But yeah, Pretty. If you could play a superhero, who would you be?
Catwoman.
Really?
I think so. I think so. And it could be just because I'm still so in love with Michelle Pfeiffer's Catwoman.
Oh my gosh, we all are.
That's the one. That's the one. It just doesn't matter. They were never, and again, no dissing any of the other ones, but it's just like that was one of those where it was like, that's the one.
That's the one. I was supposed to have Julie Newmar come on the show, and she broke her hip, and we didn't get to talk. This was last year, so I haven't reached back out, but I definitely want to talk with her because Catwoman's one of those kind of. It's kind of like Batman. It's an iconic role.
Oh yeah,
you know?
I think so.
I think so too.
Yeah, it was
all right. I'm rooting for you.
Yeah. I think especially now that I've already played Catwoman's mom, I think that, it's pretty difficult.
Although you got your own podcast. You could do stuff like that. You
can do whatever I want.
Dressed as Catwoman.
We'll do a Halloween episode.
I was thinking about starting to do these podcasts where I don't have any hair. I was thinking, what if I had just a funky hat every episode?
Funky hat, or hell, do
a wig. Wig. That's the way to go. And I'll never say anything about it. It's just you come on and I'll just have something on.
Exactly. And just live your life. Exactly. Do it.
Yeah. I've thought about that because it would amuse me.
That's probably good for YouTube too, because then they can see like the different, you're like, oh, that's the episode with that hat.
That's right. And hair might be even better. I might enjoy that better.
Enjoy you know what? Live your best life.
I don't have anything to like get in the way, so I could probably wear about any wig.
You can.
Yeah.
And
I know. I had, back in the 80s, I had that glorious 80s hair and I hated it. And I think one day it just like, all right, buddy, we're out.
Get out of here.
You don't respect us. We're out of here. And now I'm like, I kind of miss it. I knew though, because, my dad and my brother lost their hair when they were like 20 and I made it to about 40. So I was like, I felt pretty lucky.
Great. Yeah.
Yeah, that's not too bad. Jerry Maguire was one of your first ones.
Yes.
Yeah. Was that your first movie?
Oh. It was in the early days because I was brand new to town and the audition sort of did become what was on the tape.
Yes.
It was like a birthday tape for Tom Cruise.
Yeah.
And so I was there. So we all had to say a bunch of these things. And that was one of my first ones, but it's not like we went to set and we recorded it, but we didn't, we just kind of found out later, like, oh, they're using your bit. And
yeah, but like, still, I mean, that's a pretty good one to have a bit in.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not too bad. Well, Ivana, thank you for taking a little bit of time. I was so excited to talk with you.
Thank you for having me.
It's been terrific. I know. And you're I like me at 6 to 7 o'clock in the evening. I am not interviewing people because I'm on the downslide then. You
same.
like it's 1 o'clock here. I know. Yeah.
Next time I'll be terrific. At 1 a.m. and I'm like bright and early and happy in the morning.
With me, I gotta have at least 8 hours. 9 preferably, but at least 8. Or I'm not at my best. So a couple things, Ivana, before I let you go, anything you're working on that we can keep an eye out for?
Well, just like you mentioned, Sherlock and Daughter, The Astronaut when that comes out, and my podcast.
I know. I'm so excited for your podcast.
May 21st.
Well, and I'm assuming that you'll be putting all that out on the social media. So where can we find you there?
We can Ivana Milicevic.
I know. It sounds so pretty when you say it.
You'll learn.
I know. I'm trying. It's this West Virginia accent. It's a struggle.
It's so good. Keep it. I love it.
Well, it's not going anywhere. If you really love it, come hang out with me like when I'm around family. It's thick. You may not understand it, really but it's probably kind of like Ireland. When you get listening to people really speaking Irish, you can't understand it.
When they get going with their accent.
When they get going, yeah.
It's true.
All right, Ivana, hold on 1 second. Well, Ivana was terrific. She's one of my favorite actresses. I think she's so versatile in what she does, and she's so or can be very physical. She's a very athletic actress. I think she always plays a badass and is terrific at it. Absolutely love her as an actress. We ran a little bit long because there's so much she's done. It's hard to get through all of it. So apologies that ran just a little bit long. I wanted to go through some of the things that she's been in that I didn't get to touch on, and I'm going to mention a few, and there's still a ton other than these that I haven't got yet. So I don't think we brought up Vanilla Sky, which was another Tom Cruise vehicle. She played Emma. She was terrific. I loved her in Aloha. Let's see. She was a biographer, I think, in that one, but that was a fun movie. Mentioned Hit Monkey and Strike Back. Oh, she was Karen on Power. She did several episodes of that. Loved her as Carrie and Anastasia in Banshee. She had an appearance on Vegas, which I think was an underrated show. Charlie's Angels, Hawaii Five-0. Oh, I did mean to bring up her appearance on Pushing Daisies. One of Emily and I's favorite shows when it was on the air. So quirky. Absolutely loved Pushing Daisies. So I wanted to mention that one. Ugly Betty. She had a couple episodes. Love Monkey with Tom Cavanaugh. Really good. She did a Dark Shadows movie. So there, Dark Shadows, I believe, was a 60s serial. And then, eventually Johnny Depp remade that. But there was a TV movie in 2005 that Ivana was in, of Dark Shadows. And she also did, around that same time period, she did a Frankenstein movie. It was a TV movie. And that one, I've seen that one. That was pretty good. She did a couple of episodes of the original Charmed. We mentioned Friends. She was Corey Weston on Friends. Just Shoot Me. Oh, Nash Bridges. She had an appearance on there. Felicity. And I think the other one I didn't mention was the Nanny. She was also on there. So she's been doing this a while. And I mean, yeah, I just absolutely love her as an actress. And she's such a nice person. She was terrific. She has been so good about this whole situation. Usually, just to give you an idea, when we get guests one of two ways normally. The most frequent is they're sent to us. So a publicist or a manager, an agent, somebody, they've got a client that's getting ready to promote something, so they send them to us. Or they've got someone that's never done a podcast or an interview for, so usually that's a younger actress or an actor, and they'll send those to us, which is a compliment, because that means we're pretty easy landing. So we get most of our guests that way. I still reach out because I'm a fan, which is why we started doing this. Both of us were fans. I still reach out, which is what I did with Ivana's reps. And then it's just a matter of, hey, this is who we are. And she was terrific and actually did some research on us. She knew, that I'm a granddad or a pawpaw, and she knew about me. She looked into me, agreed to do it. And then we have to find a date. And so it took, we probably started talking a month to 6 weeks ago. That's a pretty quick turnaround for us to get guests. I've had guests on the show that, I might have been trying to get them scheduled for several years before we've had on. So this one pretty quick, and I think it was so quick because she actually took a minute and checked us out. So really, really appreciated that. If you're finding us for the first time and the accent and the nonsense didn't scare you away, I'm so happy that you're here. We'd love to have your support, and it's easy to do. We don't ask for any money, but we do ask for subscriptions, and they're free. So if you go to our YouTube channel, which is MeisterCon Pod, please just subscribe. It really does help us out. We get, being honest, but not as humble as I probably should be, but we do just fine as far as views and listens. We do really well. We wouldn't be here if we didn't. But we struggle to get those subscriptions. So, which probably means we're hitting a very wide audience, but we're trying to drill down and get them to go ahead and give us that subscription, because we want to build, an audience, love having the new people in. Love that, but you need that base. So anyway, that's a lot of talk. Just ask to please subscribe. YouTube, MeisterCon Pod. Our website is meistercon.com. We've got, let's see, today I'm putting out episode 956. We tend to put out about 4 weeks. So you can do the math. We're about 3 months away from our 1000th episode. We'll see. I'm working on a few guests for that. We'll see. Ivana would have been terrific for that. We're just not quite there yet. Make sure that you check out her podcast. Good for her. You know, I say this a lot. The great thing about podcasts is anybody can do it. The bad thing about podcasts is anybody can do it. But I always tell people, if you have an idea or you're just wanting to try it, just do it. It doesn't, like, you can get started for basically nothing. If you have a phone, you can get started. You know, you can invest in a ring light and a laptop or a cell phone, and that's basically all you need, you know, and you don't even need the ring light if you're not doing video to get started. And I say just do it. More than likely, you're going to get in there, and the consistency that's needed is going to be difficult for you, because that's what most of us struggle with, you know, to just consistently put out content at the same time each week. That's difficult. But try it out, you know, and see how it goes. You never know. I mean, we're pretty good proof. You know, Brett and I started this. We thought maybe we might eventually get to 100 followers, you know, and most of that would probably be family and friends. Well, as it turned out, most of our family and friends, when we started out, they weren't fans. They loved us, did not love what we were doing. But we stuck with it. You know, we didn't ignore the negative responses because we needed to get better. So we took that and tried to turn it into constructive criticism. It wasn't really meant that way, but we tried to do that in order to improve. And eventually we got there. You know, so now we don't get a lot of complaints about just how we're podcasting or the quality of the podcast. I'm not saying we're the best. We got a long way to go yet, but we've improved enough that, you know, now people can watch the podcast and they're like, yeah, that was pretty good. Where 6 years ago when they're watching it, they're like, I don't know that I'm coming back, but they did. So anyway, meistercon.com. Please check us out there. Make sure you follow Ivana and check out the podcast. I should have asked her, you know, hey, I'm available. I'm not always a host. I can also be a guest. I'm not sure how good a guest I would be, but I can be one. Thank you guys so much. Until next time, enough of my shenanigans. Bye, everybody.